and welcome. My name is Glenn Smith, elder law attorney with LifeScape Law and Development. Congratulations on being proactive and taking steps to better equip yourself to help your aging clients in the aging process. This series is about elevating you to hero status within the lives of your aging clients and their families. How? By equipping you as a resource person in the aging process. You'll know the answers or know someone who has the answers to your clients' questions like, how should I prepare for the future as I age? How do we protect ourselves if one of us gets sick and needs long-term care? Who can we trust to help us navigate around the next corner of our life? Friends, I know what it's like to need medical and financial help for a family member, feeling helpless and overwhelmed by the situation. I grew up with a mother with special needs. We were poor, even by East Tennessee terms. My mother was in and out of state hospitals for most of my life. I woke up each day wondering if my mother was going to be safe, get the care that she needed, and how would we pay for that care? Honestly, at times I was afraid and felt helpless. Here are some of the sobering facts about the aging process. Cancer and heart attacks are still the leading causes of death in America, but Alzheimer's disease is the 7th leading cause and is accelerating while heart attacks and cancer-related deaths are on the decline. 1 out of 8 Americans over the age of 65 have dementia. 1 out of every 2 Americans over 85 is dealing with dementia of some type. So what are the odds that a person will need some form of long-term care at some point or his and her life? 70%. What are the odds that a person will need some form of skilled nursing care? Well, if you're over 65, 43%. If you're over 80, 50%. The average length of stay in a skilled nursing facility is 2.4 years. And the average cost of care is a staggering $7,441 per month per person. Friends, if you've got a 70% chance of needing long-term care, wouldn't you think that it would be wise for your clients to get a plan in place? Wouldn't it be wise for you as their financial advisor to be prepared to help your clients get a plan in place? I've been practicing law for nearly 4 decades, and I've dedicated my life to helping folks grow, develop, and transform into their best selves and get the love and care and support that they need. It's been an accumulation of experiences, information, and resources for over 4 decades. What if you knew what was around the corner of your client's life? Just like a superhero, you could see through the walls of fear, confusion, and uncertainty and help your aging clients know and understand what's ahead and then point them in the right direction. As promised, over the next 4 short videos, we'll share with you what you should know, some of the options available to your clients, and some of the best practices and answers to the questions and challenges of chronic illness, special needs, and disability in the continuum of care. I lead an interdisciplinary team of professionals who work together to preserve and enhance our clients' assets, maximize their quality of life in the aging process, and help create peace of mind for the families. Let me share another true story. Richard and Pamela have been married for 26 years, a second marriage for both of them, and both of them have 2 grown children on either side. Unfortunately, the kids have been estranged and have no contact with either Richard or Pamela. Richard, a former airline pilot, was 77 years old, and Pamela, a former flight attendant, was 62. 15 years, Richard's junior. 5 years earlier, Richard was diagnosed with dementia and was beginning to exhibit functional limitations and becoming a fall risk. Both were concerned and somewhat overwhelmed by the decision-making process. What should we do? Where do we find the answers and get the help? Richard wanted to provide Pamela with the lifestyle they had enjoyed for their life together, no matter what happened to him. Pamela wanted to know the best options for Richard's care. Could they stay at home together? Who would take care of Pamela if Richard predeceased her? Initially, we worked with the couple to flush out and refine what they really wanted in terms of life options and care. Within a month, a life care plan was developed for Richard and Pamela, including estate planning, elder care, asset protection, long-term care options, and recommendations for remodeling their home to accommodate aging in place. Today, our team is still supporting and advocating for Richard and Pamela. At least quarterly, we meet with them to monitor their progress and make any adjustments in their life care plan. At LifeScape Law and Development, we use a model called the Elder Care Continuum to help families understand the natural progression of a long-term illness and its impact on a loved one's health, mobility, housing, and financial resources. Notice how the elder care continuum reflects 4 factors impacting the continuum of care through the aging process. Line 1 reflects the health and ability of the individual to function and moves from a healthier older person to an unhealthy older person with significant limited functionality. Line 2 reflects how the level of care needed increases as the level of functionality declines. Now let's talk about what we call the gap. Often we find that there is a gap between the person's functionality and the level of care being provided. For example, a person who's rated even more limited function on line 1 may be getting the care at the level for a person with no or limited functionality on line 2. The distance between the person's functionality level on line 1 and their actual level of care provided on line 2 is what we call the gap. Now note, the appropriate level of care for a person with even more limited function should be in an assisted living facility. That gap between the person's functionality and their level of care is the danger zone, where bad stuff happens to the aging person, like falls, medication mishaps, accidents, and wandering. Next, line 3 reflects that as the person's functionality declines, the cost of care increases, ranging from in-home part-time care of around $2,500 per month, $6,000 to $10,000 per month for skilled institutional care, to more than $25,000 per month for 24/7 care in-home. Remember, the average cost of care per month per person is $7,441. And then finally, on line 4 of the elder care continuum, it reflects the various sources of payment for care. Oftentimes, we're using several of those in conjunction. The elder care continuum helps families visualize the care journey as a process that begins well before what we call the crisis point. The crisis point is when the family realizes that their loved one can no longer safely live alone at home. At the crisis point, caregivers, typically a spouse or child, find themselves scrambling to make immediate arrangements for long-term care, oftentimes under great pressure, and asking, where do we find the right type of care? What are the care options? Who can we trust to care for those loved ones? And how do we get money to pay for that care? Often the long-term care journey begins with what we call a trigger event. It could be a stroke, a car accident, or a fall in the home. It could be a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease, cancer, or another condition that may eventually lead to incapacity. Once that trigger event happens, family caregivers gradually step in to assume increasingly responsibility for researching, coordinating, and delivering care, and managing more and more of the loved one's financial, legal, and personal matters. Over time, these burdens can become overwhelming. Unfortunately, traditional estate and elder law attorneys are limited in their ability to help earlier in the process because their focus is often just on the money. 3 lessons that I've learned over my 37 years of practice. 1, you don't know what you don't know. And often by the time folks start planning, they've lost options and opportunities. 2, those with a plan and working the plan get better care, stay at home longer, and stretch their assets out over a longer period of time. 3, if you don't do what you need to do, when you need to do it, somebody else will make the decisions for you, like the courts, the insurance companies, or the government, and no one's going to be happy. The long-term care journey is about more than just money. It's about making sure their loved one is safe and well cared for. It's about quality of life, being in control and independent. When your clients meet with us during their initial consultation, the focus will be on locating their loved one's position on each of the 4 lines of the elder care continuum. We will then help them identify gaps in care and suggest ways to mobilize resources and public benefits to close those gaps. And then we'll put together a plan, put a plan in place that maximizes both care and asset protection for both now and in the future. You can be the hero in the lives of your clients and their families. Over the next 3 video sessions, you will discover how your clients can get ahead, be proactive with elder care and asset protection planning, how your clients can prepare and thrive with life care planning, and finally, how your clients can get the care they need and retain their hard-earned assets even in the midst of crisis care planning. Congratulations again on getting started. Now, on to session 2, upward and onward.